First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Good evening and welcome to First at 5 from WUFT News. I'm Francis Kapper.
And I'm Rafael de los Santos. Thank you for joining us. We start with breaking news in north central Florida. A 16-year-old girl is dead after being struck by lightning in Palaca. She was out hunting with her father earlier this week when lightning struck.
Students at her high school are mourning her loss today amidst an outpouring of prayers from her community. WFT's Jacob Sedesse is live outside of UF Health Shands where she was being treated. Jacob, loved ones were praying she'd pull through.
Yes, Francis, Rafael, I've actually been keeping up with this story since late last night, and this morning I was caught quite off guard when Putnam County Sheriff's officials announced the untimely passing of Palaca's 16-year-old Bailey Holbrook. Now, Holbrook was actually struck along with her father Tuesday afternoon after the strike bounced off a tree while they were hunting. Her father went unconscious, but when he came to, he found her unresponsive. As doctors tried to save her at Shands, her community rallied around her, holding a vigil last night. Today, students were supposed to wear green to school to show their support. UF Chief Meteorologist Jeff George stresses the importance of staying safe around lightning.
So if you see lightning and you count to 30, and if you get to 30 before you hear thunder, then it's safe to be outside. Otherwise, you need to go inside, and that could be a house or any kind of building with 4 walls.
Now, George tells us there were between 115 and 130 lightning strikes in the area at the time. He added that trees and other tall objects do pose a particular risk during storms and should be avoided. Now, this is a developing story and we will keep you updated as we learn more. But as sheriff's officials are saying, remember to keep the family in your thoughts and prayers, and please respect their privacy. Live in Gainesville, Jacob Sedesse, WUFT News.
The Gainesville City Commission met today to talk about several topics, including a new GRU board appointed by Governor Ron DeSantis. But the first 3 appointees do not live in the city of Gainesville.
State Representative Chuck Clemens signed the bill to allow state-appointed board control of it. WFT's Jake Lynch reached out to Clemens' office. Jake, what did he tell you about the board members living outside of the city?
A statement from the office of Representative Chuck Clemens, who sponsored the law, says the appointees by Governor Ron DeSantis are legal because they're all GRU customers, even if they live outside of city limits. Clemens pushed to strip the city of GRU control because of high rates and giant debt. The bill says future replacements for future governors should follow a ratio to reflect how many customers are inside and outside of the city. The outside ratio is currently 30%, which would mean only 1 or 2 board members from outside the city.
I plan to be here next week to swear those folks in, no matter who they are. Good, sir. I'll be here.
Gainesville is hoping to have a judge block the new authority from taking over. All parties were asking for a summary judgment. The judge asked everyone to submit a proposed ruling yesterday, but we don't know when she will be making a ruling. Reporting live from the newsroom, Jake Lynch, WUFT News.
It has been overcast all day today here in Gainesville.
That's right. WFT's forecaster Daniella Rudolph joins us live in the studio. Daniella, our area will be spared from rain this evening. Will we be spared?
Thanks, gentlemen. And yes, you are correct. We're not going to be seeing any rain this evening, even though we are seeing these clouds over the stadium. They're fair weather clouds, so they're just going to look like they're producing rain, but not producing any rain. Those temperatures right now at 76 degrees. Now, just to double check, we're not going to have any rain this evening. You can see our radar is relatively quiet, but if you did head out to campus today, you would have felt that it actually felt a little chilly, starting to feel like fall. Those winds were a little high today. Right now, they're at 13 in Gainesville, a little bit gusty in Keystone Heights at 18, but this is helping to keep those temperatures low across the board in those mid to high 70s rather, except Live Oak at 81. If you're headed out this evening, going to be a great one. That's all. Back to the desk.
Governor Ron DeSantis appointed Emery Gainey to be the interim sheriff of Alachua County after Sheriff Clovis Watson resigned. Sheriff Gainey is now running to continue working as the sheriff after his current interim tenure. He will be sworn in on October 2nd, but has already assumed the duties of interim sheriff. Gainey has entered the 2024 race for Alachua County Sheriff as a Republican. Formerly, he was a sheriff of Marion County. Sheriff Gainey is the only Republican in the race for Alachua County Sheriff. He is joined in the race by 3 Democrats, Latrell Simmons, Chad Scott, and Tyrone Johnson Jr.
Gainesville's Regional Transit Systems is working on what routes they can provide to meet the needs of residents. WFT's Natasha Holt is live in the studio. Natasha, you spoke to an RTS representative who broke down what they will now offer.
After reducing services and closing 5 bus routes in August, RTS is now considering which routes to bring back. The Citizens Advisory Board met last night to discuss bringing some routes back that were discontinued due to budget cuts. They also heard public comment about what services bus riders would like to see return. RTS spokesman Thomas Idayaga said the Route 3 will return to service on Saturdays beginning in January. And those who want to voice their opinion about the service cuts are invited to attend future meetings of the advisory board. The next meeting will be on November 29th. Reporting live in the newsroom, Natasha Holt, WUFT News.
County and is guaranteed to catch the eye of residents. The sculpture is called Bounce is being installed in the Alachua County Sports Event Center in Celebration Point. Jen Garrett was commissioned by the county to create the sculpture. The one-ton sculpture. Garrett is an internationally recognized artist and her work can be seen locally. Bounce is one of 3 artworks funded by the county's Art in Public Spaces program.
Just a lot of people here in town that helped me. I mentioned my engineer. I work closely with Boone Welding. As you might have guessed, I don't have the strength to build a 1-ton sculpture all by myself. So my guys over at Boone have been great to work with, and they have all the overhead cranes and can do a structural well.
The artwork signifies the spirit of sportsmanship in the community.
The city of Gainesville is warning residents of a phishing scam. The city says residents are receiving a docu-sign that looks like it is coming from the city. It is also recommended that you delete any suspicious emails. Do not click unknown links. The city will not send emails from an Outlook, Gmail, or from any similar domains.
Coming up on WFT News, first at 5, residents in Cedar Key are finally coming to the end of an emotional process.
However, residents found that it brought them a newfound strength in community and unwavering commitment to their belief in others. More on that after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
There's a new place to relax at One Ocala Park. Visitors to Sholum Park can experience a Japanese-style Zen garden. The garden serves as a place where people can disconnect, meditate, and find some peace. The garden was imagined by the same architects who designed the Japan experience at Epcot. The Zen garden was fully funded by private donations. Sholum Park manager Brian Devon looks forward to people enjoying this new space.
So this really is a place for people to come and be able to focus on their own spirituality, their own thought process.
Visitors will see different water features, a turtle island, and a meditative raking area. Sholum Park is a private park open to the public 365 days a year. The admission is free, but the park is always accepting donations.
The Florida Department of Health in Citrus County has issued a no-swim advisory for the waters at Fort Island Gulf Beach. This should be considered a potential health risk to the bathing public, and swimming is not recommended. Health officials conducted a water test at the beach which showed unhealthy levels of the bacteria that pose potential health risks. Enteric bacteria is an indication of fecal pollution, likely from stormwater runoff, pets, wildlife, or human sewage. For more information, you can call the DOH Citrus at 352-513-6100.
Cedar Key is feeling proud of their community. Residents have picked up debris from Hurricane Idalia for the last time this week. City officials posted these images of the debris around the city on their Facebook page. Idalia devastated the Big Bend area when it hit late August. Officials say the city has come a long way in such a short time, and neighbors should be proud of how they bounced back through dedication and unwavering commitment.
The American Red Cross Immediate Assistance site in Citrus County has closed. Those who were already receiving assistance from this location have been transitioned to other locations. If you or someone you know still needs assistance, please call 733-2767.
Next week, the city of Gainesville will recognize Indigenous Peoples Day with a ceremony. Mayor Harvey Ward will proclaim Monday as Indigenous Peoples Day in Gainesville during a brief ceremony recognizing the contributions and resilience of Indigenous peoples, including the Pontano, part of the Timucua Nation, and who once inhabited north central Florida. The reading of Indigenous Peoples Day proclamation will be followed by musical performances. The event is on Monday, October 9th at 5:30 p.m. and will be at the City Hall Plaza.
While there won't be any rain today, I am hoping it stays that way for the weekend. WFT's forecaster Daniella Rudolph joins us live.
Daniella, how does the weekend weather look?
So unfortunately, we're not in for a treat this weekend. Those rain chances are really ramping up towards the end of the week. However, next week is looking a little bit nicer.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Jumping straight to taking a live look outside at the Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, where we see some cloud coverage. However, it's not going to be producing rain over the stadium or for the Gainesville area. Those temperatures right now, a cool 77, so it is a great evening to head out, walk the dogs, take the kids out. But that future radar going a little bit later into your evening, overnight hours, we do see some showers in the Palatka and the Ocala area. So if you are there, please stay indoors and stay up to date with your county's emergency management and with us to see where and when that rain and potential for lightning and thunderstorms is going to be occurring. Now that muggy meter, this is amazing in my opinion, because I love the cool weather. I really love fall. And look at that Sunday, a big drop from 72 down to 59, going a little bit back up next week, but those temperatures are really going to be cooling off, feeling like fall. If you are headed out tomorrow on campus, let's take a look at those temperatures. Starting out the day, cool 78, getting a little bit warmer to 85. However, tomorrow we are going to be seeing those thunderstorm conditions starting around that 1 p.m. hour, remaining into the early evening, that commute and dinner hour. But if you are headed up to Kentucky this weekend, the Gators are going to be playing the Wildcats in Kentucky. So here is your football forecast. Now those temperatures are really cool. Look at that, a cool start to the day at 66 degrees. Of course, the Gators are going to be bringing the heat coming into that stadium at that 2 p.m. hour, around 77, getting a little bit warmer for those celebrations because hopefully the Gators are going to take a win. But here in Gainesville, if you're staying with me this weekend, unfortunately, we're not as lucky as Kentucky. Those temperatures are going to be ramping right back up to 81, a slight chance for rain on Saturday, but Sunday is the day to watch with those thunderstorms. But those temperatures are going to feel a little bit cooler, tracking the tropics. Of course, we are seeing two storms as of right now in the Atlantic Basin. We have Philippe and we have Reighan. We can see these two red areas are set out by the National Hurricane Center. This is the cone of uncertainty and just basically explains the projected path of the storm. Here we can see they potentially overlap a little bit later on in the week, but we'll definitely have more for you if that's going to be affecting us here in the United States. As of right now, only looking like the Caribbeans are going to be impacted, but of course we will keep you up to date. There is our 7-day outlook. It's looking like really nice weather going into next week. We have those temperatures in the same range around those mid 80s. However, going into Thursday, we're jumping right back up to almost feeling like summer with an 89 degree. Going into your weekend, we do see some of those rainy conditions. However, that's going to be clearing for the next work week. But as I said, the muggy meter, those humidity levels are going to be a little bit lower later on in this weekend, but definitely dropping next week, which is going to make those temperatures feel a little bit cooler than what we're seeing on the screen. Definitely feeling like fall. If you're a fan, you're really in for a treat. Back to the desk.
There's a big high school football showdown tonight as Eastside takes on North Marion in this highly anticipated matchup. After losing in the last two meetings, North Marion will be looking to turn things back in their favor. WUFT reporter Jack Alperstein will be live from Citizens Field with all the details. All that and more in sports coming up.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Reighan Sheppard. There's a big showdown tonight in Thursday's edition of Friday Night Lights. WUFT's Jax Alperstein is live from Citizens Field as two teams fight for the top spot in their district.
Thank you, Reighan. We've got a Thursday night high school football matchup as the Eastside Rams gear up to host their district rivals, the North Marion Colts. After suffering crushing defeats last week, both teams will look to get back on track tonight. Until last season, Eastside had not defeated North Marion since 2017. The Rams finally ended that drought during their 2022 campaign, defeating the Colts in both matchups, including a 27-14 playoff victory. North Marion will look to get revenge for their playoff exit as they play Eastside tonight. Live from Citizens Field, I'm Jack Alberstein, WUFT News.
The Gator volleyball team fought a great fight last night, but ultimately fell to the Aggies of Texas A&M. After leading 3 sets 2-1, the Aggies took the final 2, dropping the Gators' record to 10-2. Both teams gave a great effort on defense, making game-changing blocks. Kennedy Martin and Sophia Victoria proved to be a powerful pair, putting up a combined 30 kills. With the upset win, Texas A&M and Florida both sit at 2-1 in the Southeastern Conference. The Gators are coming off an eye-opening win at home following last week's victory against Charlotte. As the team sets up to face SEC rival Kentucky this Saturday, head coach Billy Napier says the objective is simply to build. Fine-tuning the details is what will set the team up for success.
I think the players have responded the right way this week. Thought we were a little sharper today than yesterday, and that's what you would expect because you go back and fix the things from Tuesday. And, you know, as we continue to prepare all the way until kickoff, we'll need to be detailing up the plan.
The Gators and the Wildcats kick off in Lexington on Saturday at noon. That's it for sports. I'm Reighan Sheppard.
An Alachua County furry friend is bringing joy to the Gainesville community, and he's ready for his forever home. Meet Rocky, a friendly dog with a big personality. Today, Rocky had a morning out at Depot Park with Alachua Resource and Care. He then headed to 4th Avenue Food Park where girls personalized an egg encounter for him. He loves playing tug with other dogs and chasing after tennis balls. If you're interested in meeting him, he will be at the Alachua County Animal Resources Shelter Tuesday through Saturday. Before we go, one last check on the weather.
Thanks, guys. So tomorrow during that bus stop outlook, the morning is going to start off relatively cool at 71 degrees, but if you can turn to your screen right now, I really advise doing so. We have those thunder showers around that 4 p.m. hour, which is the pickup from school. This evening is a really great opportunity to sit with your children and explain the importance of weather safety. Thunderstorms bring an array of hazards, damaging wind, flooding, and of course lightning, which can be fatal. So make sure that you have a plan in place for pickup tomorrow. Don't be scared, be prepared. That's how we get through this. That 7-day outlook, those temperatures are remaining the same the week, but going a little higher into next Thursday. That's all. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Daniella. BBC World News is next, and the PBS NewsHour is coming up at 7.
Your Florida news is always on at WUFT.org. Have a good night.